Welcome to the Cats Pod. This is episode 5 of the Cats Pod. Ben here with my ever so enticing co-host Eric Lover. I think we're going to start off by going over our picks for this week, and then we'll get into this Cal Poly Montana State game. How are the picks looking, Eric?
Well, honestly, Ben, not good.
They're not. I mean, it's not looking solid so far. We still have a ray, like a little bitty tiny piece of hope.
Yeah, it's not looking good. The Grizzlies are dog walking Idaho currently.
Yeah, 20-0, which is like that. I mean, that kind of changes the way I feel about the Grizzlies quite a bit.
I'm just gonna, for anyone that tailed the Twitter account on my sports bet tickets and you took Idaho following me, I apologize now.
Idaho by 2 touchdowns.
That's not
2 touchdowns.
I thought that was safe, but I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just let's review these games and see kind of where we went wrong. I know we both tuned into at least most of these.
Yeah.
To see what happened.
We got at least a look at it.
Yeah.
Eastern Washington versus Idaho. Eastern Washington ends up losing, and it was a 21-point comeback in the fourth quarter by Idaho State, who Eric, and only Eric, has been trash-talking up and down all year long.
Okay, easy. There's a difference between winning the game and blowing the game. Eastern Washington blew that game. They had a massive lead. How do you give that up? I honest to God switched it because it was so bad. It was so bad I switched the game. Eastern Washington was killing them. I think Idaho State, I can't remember exactly how the first quarter went, but they looked pretty strong. Eastern Washington looked awful out the get-go, and then scored few touchdowns in the first quarter. I just couldn't believe it when you turned that replay or pulled up the recap.
The score on it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was bad.
Yeah. So Big L.
Big L on that one.
Yeah.
So the next one was Northern Arizona University, and this is where I think I took an L because last week I was all over the Lumberjacks. I was Paul Bunyan with that axe when it came to the Lumberjacks. I was big on them, and then they end up just getting pretty much tarnished by Portland State. That offense looked just as good as I expected it to be when they were playing against somebody who's not the Cats.
Dude, Dante Chachere is legit.
Oh, yeah.
He is their entire offense. But I'm pretty sure I remember saying, and I mean, don't quote me exactly, but I'm pretty sure it went along the lines of something about Northern Arizona's home field advantage and them beating the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
But something along those lines.
I think that was exactly it.
So, but Northern Arizona got dog walked by Portland State. Portland State got dog walked by Montana State. Makes Montana State look pretty good here.
Yeah. It does help them out quite a bit.
Makes Idaho look pretty bad by process of winning.
Yeah. By the transitory process of winning.
Exactly.
Montana State looks pretty good. Next one was Sac State. Sac State, we actually picked this one correctly. And they won by 8 points.
Yeah.
Is that a surprise? You would expect them to beat Northern Colorado by more than that, right? An 0-6 team?
I did, yeah. I did expect that. Northern Colorado, evidently playing at home, came out ready to rock and roll. But we got that one right, so we're not going to dwell on that one.
No, UC Davis, we also got that one right. And that was a thriller. And I think that's one we went back and forth on, too.
We did.
We were waffling a little bit. We thought it was a pretty even matchup. But we did end up going with UC Davis. And UC Davis pulled up the 1 point lead. It looked like their defense held up on a few possessions. We didn't get to watch this one live.
Yeah.
But just following the score, it seemed like Weber State had the ball a lot towards the end, and UC Davis must have held them out. And they also, they held them to 3 points in the fourth quarter. So defensive stand, it looks like, by UC Davis at the end of the game to win that one.
Yeah, big stand. And then our Montana State Bobcats, they did something I did not expect them to do. They covered the spread.
Yeah. They did cover the spread. Shout out to the Cats.
Out.
Well, they're like, we've been talking about the Cats versus the spread, right? And they're 5-1 right now, and I think they're also 5-1 against the spread.
Yeah, this is. I did not expect them to run the score as much as they did. I mean, it was. Yeah, if you follow the Twitter page, I took the Bobcat or the Cal Poly plus 37.5, which 37.5 is a ton of points, a ton, and in all reality, one field goal at the end of the game, that bet wins. But Cal Poly
the fact that Cal Poly missed a field goal and also an extra point.
You want to bitch about special teams?
No, I think we should actually start talking about the game that we're supposed to be talking about, though. Like, I think we should switch over to actually talking about our Cats.
Yeah.
Pretty spectacular game all around by the Cats, right?
Oh,
like, you don't really have anything to complain about during this game.
No. Aside from a few special teams bobbles, that just for whatever reason didn't seem like they could corral the punts and kicks. But aside from that, yeah, it was about as good as you could hope for.
You said it was Ty McCullough's first game as a punt returner, right? At least
no, last week.
Last week was second game as a punt returner.
He'd been hurt before that.
I was gonna say, if this was his first game and the first punt that you return is for a touchdown, I think you're a punt returner for life.
Yeah,
like you've secured the bag on that.
I mean, what he did tonight, he was everything for that
Ty
offense.
McCullough, dude.
Yeah, he is a dude. I mean, talk about a weapon. On top of everything else we have on offense, now we're adding him back in. This is only the second week with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he completely stole the show. But now you're talking going forward. You got Ty McCullough on one side. You got Cleveland Thomas on the other side. You got two bona fide number one tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
You got an absolute stable of running backs. We didn't even get to see Julius Davis tonight, did we?
No, Julius
Not
Davis.
One carry. Not one.
From our insider information,
yeah,
we found out that he was injured for this game.
Yeah, might have still been a little banged up, but looks like aside from Sean Chambers and Tommy Malott, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different guys take carries.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get rid of that Ty McCullough carry because. 1 for negative 17.
Was that first play of the game?
First, yeah.
Yeah, I show up a little bit late to the game, and I walk in and I go, Eric, did I miss anything? And he goes, yeah, you missed a lot. we just lost 25 yards on one play. And I was like, oh no, is this going to be that kind of game? And then it was all skyrocketing from there.
Yeah.
We took a skyrocket directly to the moon.
And I think that was just a little bit of Tommy being hurt and out, a little bit of rust coming off. Mm-hmm. He made sure to quiet any doubters after that.
Yeah.
Because, he played an incredibly efficient game. 7 for 9, 92 yards.
It's just like how much
2 passing touchdowns.
How much more can we talk about Sean Chambers?
No.
Are we going to get sick of it? Because I'm still not sick of it.
If I had a dream, it would be to interview Sean Chambers.
Sean Chambers is number 1 now?
Dude, I love that guy. I mean, everything he does is exciting. Watching him not necessarily carried, but Justice right on him.
Yeah.
Barreling into the end zone.
Yeah.
They celebrate like they're some bad sons of guns because they are.
Yeah.
That was tough, man. I mean, flexing because they deserved it.
There was a lot of tough touchdown plays for the Cats this week.
Derek Snell?
Yeah, Derek Snell's touchdown that paid out for you was just solid. He ran through, I want to say, 3 different dudes on that play.
Yeah.
Just completely obliterates them. No, we know why he's called the Alaskan Assassin when he gets in the end zone like that.
Yeah, he had a fantastic game. He's just so fun to watch. 3 for 55.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Ty McCullough, 4 receptions for 119 yards.
Yeah.
He had 4 receptions and it felt like 14.
You want to hear something crazy here?
What's going on?
So the parlay, the combined parlay for Sean Chambers, that was 145 yards for sure passing. 100, oh no, 100, oh, it was 125 rush yards. Okay.
125
I thought it was 145 pass yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Yeah. But still, what a stat line by him. 4 for 91 with 3 touchdowns, 7 of 15 for 151.
Mm-hmm. It was a killer game by him. And Tommy looked super efficient as usual while he was in there. 7 for 9 on that, average of 10 yards on plays for him. Yeah, he just looked like a great football player out there. Towards the end of the game, I was saying, we were talking about Jordan Reed and Jordan Reed getting in there for those last few plays.
Yeah.
And he looks like a pretty solid quarterback, but it's hard to judge from just seeing a handful of plays in this game, and then also back when they played Utah Tech. But we were also talking about the locker room that he's involved in, and how that's got to mold a redshirt freshman in some ways, right?
I mean, how can it not? You see all these guys just functioning cohesively throughout an entire season where guys are, they're playing 1A, 1B, and they're totally fine with it. There's no jealousy that we can see. Of course, we don't see what the day-to-day life of everybody, but it sure doesn't seem like there's any animosity toward, somebody gets, kind of like tonight with the, we were talking about the 2 bona fide number 1 tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Derek Snell got everything tonight. Pickering, he didn't really do much.
Made some great plays on the line.
Yeah.
Did his job on all those plays to make those scores happen.
But he was, as far as, receiving touchdowns, he pretty much wasn't a factor in that. But those 2 guys were high-fiving each other.
Right there.
Yeah. You don't see any kind of... in that kind of locker room, I can't imagine that it isn't the perfect place to grow. And that's a credit to the coaching staff, honestly.
I thought it was funny in the broadcast how they mentioned Perkins, right?
Justice Perkins.
Yeah, Justice Perkins. How they mentioned that he was kind of mad at Sean and Tommy for not having more fire and not trying to compete with each other as much. He's just like, guys, you guys love each other too much. All right, I want to see you guys step up and one of you guys try and be the number 1. Or I don't think it was like that, but just wanted to see a little bit more competitive fire between them. But at the end of the day, they have all that fire going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
They don't fight internally; they fight across the line of scrimmage from them.
Yeah, I think just to kind of let's get a little nitpicky here and talk a bit about the negative of this game, and I think special teams. We've talked about it before. Special teams are still a bit of a bugaboo.
But it was boom or bust on the special teams.
It was, yes. Yeah. They definitely made it, they blocked a punt and a extra point.
Yeah.
Scored a touchdown off a punt return. But also, did they miff 3 punts?
That was the thing.
2 punts and 1 kickoff, I think.
It was 3 catches like that in a row where I think Ty McCullough was back for all of them.
And then Vegan put the Alaskan Assassin back there to take the punts.
Yeah. And they were just talking in the broadcast about how he was also a punt returner / fullback / halfback / whatever you need the assassin to do. The assassin gets that job done.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what he does. But there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of players on the Bobcats that could play that many positions.
Oh,
no doubt. There's a lot of versatile players around the team, and it's nothing against anybody else.
Yeah, I think as far as the studs of the game, it really seemed to me like Sean Chambers, number 1. Absolute number 1. I'm thinking Jared White's probably going to get my number 2. that dude churned.
Jared White had some nice plays.
He did.
He definitely did. He led us in rushing with 93 yards on 14 carries. 6.6 yards per carry. So if you're getting 6.6 yards per carry, but look at the averages down the entire Montana State line. It's 6.6 per play for Jared White, 22.8 for Sean Chambers, 17.3 for Adam Jones.
Shout out Missoula.
Thank you for giving us your favorite son. Elijah Mitchell, 5.3. Like, down the entire line, you get down to Derek Snell, and he got 3 yards on his one carry. And if you're getting 3 yards on a carry, you're going to be pretty happy with it. Yeah. If you're like an NFL team.
Oh, yeah.
You know, any like high division, anything like that, you're going to be pretty happy.
Another thing that really stood out to me was how even it was for rushing and passing. Mm-hmm. This was the first time we've seen that even of a line for 530 total yards of offense. Mm-hmm. And it was split, you know, it was a little heavy one way, but it was really pretty darn close to 50-50.
335 yards rushing and 243 passing. And I think Ty McCullough is the difference maker in that.
100%.
I think, right? Yeah. 119 for him. Cleavon Thomas barely lost that touchdown throw. Or else that would have added, I think, another 15 yards to his day. But... yeah. I mean, as always, he was out there blocking. I think he got one holding call against him.
Yeah.
But he's a great blocking wide receiver, but that's not what he is. I don't want to call him a blocking wide receiver. He's a wide receiver that's great at blocking.
Yeah.
And he just played a great all-around game, playing into that team mentality that we've been talking about this entire time.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and I think this is what we're going to be going forward. I think there's a very good chance that it's going to flip-flop between these two guys.
Yeah.
Cleavon Thomas will go off one week. Mm-hmm. And Ty McCullough, now that he's apparently back to full strength, mm-hmm. I think he'll get a big week, and then Cleavon will get a big week, and then we'll just flip-flop back and forth because these guys aren't going to know who to focus on. They haven't seen Ty McCullough. They do not know who that guy is.
And he's being... not left open, but he's given more opportunity to get open because teams are so focused on Thomas.
The catches he made
such nice catches.
Oh, it's just incredible catches.
Oh, and also Jared White's catch. That was Jared White, wasn't it?
It absolutely
that was Jared White.
They spent a lot of time reviewing an absolute touchdown catch.
For a running back, that is an elite wide receiver type of catch that he made right there in the back of the end zone.
Oh, that was awesome. That was a great play. I mean, he's a football guy.
Yeah.
That's a football guy play right there.
Oh, for sure. Quick update. So, for all of our listeners out there, we are recording this currently during the Idaho-Montana game is going on, and Idaho did score a touchdown before halftime, so it is 20-7. So we need the comeback to happen.
Do you smell that?
What is that?
That smells like a comeback.
It does smell like a comeback. It does smell a little bit like a comeback. Let's go Vandals.
Yes.
Let's go Vandals. I think we should go out and we should... Do you have any eggs? You got any eggs in the fridge?
Absolutely.
Let's be a Vandal tonight. Let's do it. Let's chuck some eggs. Let's go for it. Anything else that we want to say about this Cal Poly Montana State game?
One thing... Before I get into the defense, Cal Poly's quarterback, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have much help at any point during the game, but if you watched it and you watched some of those running throws that guy was making, because he was constantly being harassed. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was guys in his face hitting him constantly. I mean, I don't know how many times he got up slow after... at least one guy, if not two guys, hit him at the same time.
Yeah.
But those running throws he was making, and they were on point.
Yeah.
He's kind of a baller.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't know how old he was.
We got to give him some props. I know he was a transfer. I didn't hear where from, but he's kind of a baller.
That first throw they had for a touchdown, I think that was the first touchdown that Cal Poly scored. He even faked out all the cameras.
Oh, yeah. Big
time.
The
cameras weren't even following anything. We were watching they called it a touchdown, and we had no clue what was happening. And that was one of the best dimes I've seen this year.
That was a good throw. And that one that the guy dropped in the back corner of the end zone toward the end of the game, that was a running throw he threw he was completely out of position to throw the ball, but he threw it anyway. And it was perfect. The guy it looked like he got hurt on the play, dropped the ball, but it was a perfect pass. Their quarterback, he's a kind of a dog.
Yeah, he seemed like a great player.
But to get into the defense, I mean, what else can you say other than lock down?
Yeah, shut down for a lot of yards.
They really didn't allow them. I mean, they let him throw some yards on him and whatnot, but in all reality,
the rushing yards were 73 for the entire game on 24 carries. And you're holding somebody to 21 out of 39, that means you got a lot of good coverage.
Oh, yeah.
And that quarterback was slinging it as hard as he could, and he managed to get himself 225 yards. Respect to him. But the defense was definitely there on all those plays. The play on the touchdown, that first one, if Seabass is running at me, if I have Sebastian Valdez running at me, you can guarantee that there's no way I'm looking at the back of the end zone finding that guy.
Fetal position, bro.
I am running away and I'm diving. I'm ducking and I'm diving. That's it. I'm taking a dive right in the backfield. I'm taking those negative 2 yards. That's why I was never meant to be a quarterback for any type of football team.
No, I'm super proud of those guys. And we talked about it during the game while we were watching, that we thought the difference between the defense to any other year we can remember is you can see a visual difference in it. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
When they're playing how they should be playing, there isn't going to be a lot of points scored in any games. And I think that goes back to the South Dakota State game. I mean, we limited those guys. They scored, 41 today, I think?
Yeah. And,
yeah. No, I'm just super proud of those guys. I had a blast watching this game. You got anything extra on that?
I mean, I just wanted to bring up how scrumptious our offensive line is.
Oh, yeah, that was a great
part
of
that broadcast. A scrumptious offensive line. They are so tasty. Oh, I think that the broadcasters were getting a little bit hungry towards the third and fourth quarter, which happens to me as well. You know, they were getting a little bit hungry, but then they referred to the offensive line as scrumptious. So I was like, "Ooh, they are delightful." You know, that is a delightful offensive line. You know?
What was the other one after that?
There was a scrumptious offensive line and.
Oh, there was another good one.
I can't recall the other one. But we do have a bone to pick with the broadcasters when it comes to the MMA fan zone.
Yes. We've been submitting pictures of some pretty darn cute kids, and they don't seem to make it on there ever.
Every time.
I don't know why, but...
I don't want to heavily disrespect the kids that were put on the broadcast tonight, but I'm also very biased in this consideration, but I feel like the kids we were posting were much cuter.
I would agree with you there. I would agree with you there. So, if you are part of that broadcast and you hear this, look out for the Lauver family. Some pretty cute kids coming toward you.
They're coming at you right now, brother. You better watch out from the top rope.
I'm ready to throw down. One's only 1 year old, but she got some spunk.
Oh, she definitely does. There's nothing to worry about there. Overall, the broadcast is kind of cool, though, now. What is that guy's name that sounds like Tony Romo?
I don't know. It is exactly Tony Romo talking, but...
We never pay enough attention to the announcers to know their names and follow backstories or anything.
No.
And this is probably a very disrespectful thing to say on a Bobcat podcast. I think we're going to get a lot of replies for not knowing what this guy's name is.
Hey, if
And
we get
we
more
probably
replies,
deserve that.
let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to our small band of Twitter family. We're trying to come up with a name for our fans at this point.
We're gonna find it. I think in the next couple of weeks we're gonna find that perfect name, because we've actually really been thinking about it a lot more than we should.
Do you want to know what the first one that popped into my head? This isn't a good idea, but it was just, I thought it was funny for a split second, and it was the poverty line, like the poverty line. Like, we're all below the poverty line.
Yeah, let's go. The Twitter
But
page...
the whole thing is we're new money. We're new money Bobcats now. We don't know how to deal with all the money, because we're used to having this team that's below the poverty line all the time, losing to the Grizz 16 years in a row or whatever it was. And now we got all this new money, and we're like, we don't even know how to brag about it.
Oh, exactly. We're a legit football team, and we have been for a while. We're getting spoiled. I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah.
But, we will come up with a good name, because that Twitter page is fun.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Like, people are actually responding. Shout out Mike Hamill again.
Yeah, let's go.
Shout out Mike Hamill.
Yeah, he hit us back on Twitter.
Yeah.
Come on now. I love it.
Should we go into our picks for next week's games out of the Big Sky?
Well, hold on. We got a couple more outside the Big Sky Conference that we should...
Oh, we do.
I mean, we don't have to talk about them, but...
We got to bring it up at least.
NDSU did lose again.
Down. Herd down.
Let's go.
Buffalo Horns down.
Absolutely. I know nobody can see this, but we're doing the Hook Horns down.
Okay? NDSU Horns down. And I got a lot of family in North Dakota, and they are not going to be happy with me, but I will still keep shouting to this day, Horns down.
Absolutely. Okay? And they have a date with South Dakota State. That's probably, and barring
3
anything
losses
crazy,
for a North Dakota State team?
For the first time in how long is the road to Frisco not going through Fargo?
It's insane that it really isn't.
That's where we're at.
It's going through South Dakota.
USD beat them, who had a huge win over Youngstown today.
Yeah.
UND won today over them. Go watch their coach's presser. It's awesome. It's 100% worth watching.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The UND coach really showed what the reason that anybody coaches or anybody gets involved with sports is the kind of emotion he was showing after that game, and how proud he was of his team, and how he was only worried about he was respecting his players, but also thinking about the entire history of the program at the same time. And that's you just love to see somebody go through that moment.
It was a great presser. Yeah. But other big one is South Dakota State wins again, so and a dominant win at that.
Oh, it was a big one.
Yeah. So, but the big takeaway there is there's a very, very, very realistic chance that out of South Dakota State, North Dakota State, UND, and USD, North Dakota State is the worst team in the Dakotas.
No, I didn't even think about it that way.
They've already lost to 2 of them.
I just had a bunch of glass shatter. My brain is half exploded at this point. The other half became just completely inebriated when it came to that fact right there.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in the Dakotas.
They just all they have to do is lose to SDSU, and they will have lost to the other three major sports teams in the Dakotas.
Do they need to play Dickinson State next? Is that going to be the next matchup?
At this point, we might as well see what they're actually made of, because
I feel like this is getting way too disrespectful, and I put us on this train track, and it is happening now.
If there is one thing that all fans of football can get behind, especially within the FCS, is it's a good year when North Dakota State is going to fall outside the top 10.
Oh.
Because if they're in the top 10 next week, That is a travesty to the rankings.
Just the way the coaching polls go, I guarantee they're not going to drop that far. They did get beat pretty decisively. I'm not arguing with you there.
They got blown out. It was not close. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
it was never close.
Sorry. You saw the way that Montana would rise up in weeks where they just had like blah games, or I think they lost and went from 18 to 13.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how this coaching poll works, but I don't think that North Dakota State is going to go from 3 to.
No, there's
11.
Follow Jamie Williams on FCS Fans Nation. Jamie Williams has an awesome poll that he puts out. He's one of the voters for the stats.
Okay.
I've followed him for a while. His poll is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He follows every single game, watches every single game, and he'll put his poll out there for everyone to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll back up every single claim, no matter how many hundreds of people are coming at him. He'll come out and give his reasons for everything. The guy, I really do respect what he says. I think he's pretty good at his job.
From the way you're talking about him, I think that's your number one interview right there.
I mean,
let's bring him on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, he had Montana State at number 2 immediately.
Exactly. So, as he should have.
Yep.
Alright, so now we're going to go over the Big Sky games for next week. We're going to alternate picks just like last week, right? Do you want me to start off or you to start off?
Go for it.
Okay, so we have the first game listed here is Montana State versus Sac State. Now, I got to really think about this. You got to really, really like...
You want me to take over?
No, I'm not gonna get cucked on my pick. Okay, I'm not having that happen. But I think I definitely am going with the Bobcats.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough game for them. Like it's not gonna be the normal that we've came to enjoy as normal. Just whomping where we don't have to worry the entire game, where we just get to enjoy the entire day. I think there's gonna be a little bit more tension next week.
I think so, yeah. Sac State has built up a bit of a reputation as being a powerhouse. They did display they did struggle a bit against Northern Colorado. But I think the Bobcats go down there and I think they take care of business. And I don't know that I expect this to be a blowout like we've become accustomed to, but I expect the Bobcats to basically handle business down there.
I just can't think of any team that has shown the defensive prowess to level off the Bobcats' offense enough.
No,
because you're not going to score that many points on us, and then also nobody's going to limit that offense to that great a degree.
Yeah.
Because they've scored so much throughout the season.
100% agree. 100% agree.
All right, so next one's yours.
We got Idaho State at Portland State. This one's intriguing. Idaho State, I know I remember you saying in our bye-week episode, Idaho State went touchdown for touchdown with Montana. Well, they turned around and they kind of manhandled Eastern Washington
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But it was also not a fluke, but Eastern Washington missed what you would think is an easy field goal.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the game.
Yep, they did.
Right off the upright. Barely missed that thing. But it wasn't from that far out. It was probably 25, maybe 30 yards out.
Portland State, however, Chachere is awesome. The dude is legit.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is that Portland State can figure out a way to get that game done.
And I would completely agree with you. Especially the way they played against Northern Arizona this week. Northern Arizona was getting chippy. And I think I didn't get to watch many more of their games other than that. But it seemed like they try and get in the other team's head more than they play their actual game. So I think they got in a lot of people's heads. They probably got into the Grizzlies' collective mentality pretty early, because if we know the Grizz, they're pretty easy to weasel your way in there. You can live rent free in a Grizzlies fan head pretty easily.
Yeah. Absolutely. Bobcats for Bobby.
Yep.
Now, like we've said, I just think Portland State's 1-2 combo of that quarterback, receiver / running back is just going to be too much. I mean, they were very good today, and I just don't think Idaho State can hang with them.
Just to mention it, there was kind of a scary moment in that Portland State game where I don't know which player it was because I had just switched over to that broadcast, but somebody was taken off the field and the entire team was standing around there. So I hope whoever that player is, they're doing all right.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was exactly, but thoughts and prayers to that dude. Absolutely. For sure. And everybody in the stadium was being super classy about it. As soon as I switched to the broadcast, I could tell that something was going wrong, but they didn't mention who the player was by the time they started their next play.
Yeah.
Next one is Weber State versus Eastern Washington. I mean, I don't think the records that these guys have show. I don't think the record for Weber State really shows what they are. I guess it probably does. This is a tough one to pick. Like, it is tough for me to choose between these two teams just because I've got Eastern Washington, who I've only seen them miss a field goal to lose against Idaho State. And they have the same record as them now. And I've got Weber State, who I've seen them play. I saw them play against a game against Northern Iowa that they didn't look impressive in, and I saw them play against the Bobcats where they looked abysmal in that. I think I want to go Eastern Washington in this game.
Right behind you, buddy.
Right behind me? Okay. Eastern Washington is the pick then. Eastern Washington over Weber State. So we got our last Big Sky Conference matchup of the week.
Northern Colorado, Cal Poly. Cal Poly is 2-5. Northern Colorado is 0-6. Man, watching Cal Poly tonight, I don't know. I really don't know on this one. If my gut is telling me one thing, Cal Poly's quarterback can lead them to some pretty good things.
Yeah.
He is very good.
Yeah.
So my gut is telling me that I need to go with Cal Poly on this one.
But I would completely agree with that. I don't think there's that much waffling that has to happen on this one.
No, I think Northern Colorado is... I mean, can you even call them a good team? They are 0-6. They've lost every game. What was the score today again?
For what, Northern Colorado?
Yeah.
It was 21-13.
Against Sac State, that's right. I guess, they held their own against, what were they, the number 5 ranked school, I think, Sac State?
They're up there.
I don't think it matters. I think I have to go Cal Poly here.
I think I would also go Cal Poly.
Yeah. Lock that in.
Cal Poly is locked in.
Perfect.
So, only 4 conference games next week, as opposed to the 6 we had this week. There must be... Yeah, Montana's on a bye.
Idaho's on a bye. Yeah.
So, other than that, I think we just gotta talk about some of our fans, right?
Yeah, let's go.
We got a fan. We had one fan question that was posted. Well, we had 2 fan questions that were posted. One from my co-host here. He wanted to ask the question on our feed, what is life? I feel like the easy answer on this podcast is football is life. Bobcat football is life. We live and die by whatever the Bobcats are doing week to week.
100%.
So I think that is the easy answer at this point of what life actually is. Our second question was... Bobby is only coaching this year to break the BCS coaching record of 123 wins. If he doesn't get it this year, does U of M give him 1 year contract so he can? I hope so. Laughing face.
Well,
and I think our answer is, yeah, he's going to keep coaching. Like, why stop at 123?
Yeah.
Why stop? If you want to be the best, like, you can pick up 2 wins a year. Every year. Easy.
Bobcats for Bobby.
Bobcats for Bobby. Like, if you want to keep him around, I would say keep him around indefinitely. I'm still on the lifetime contract thing for him. I want him there as much as possible.
Yeah.
I hope they win barely any games the entire time.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at this Idaho score, where it's still 20-7.
Yeah.
It's still 20-7, and they're pretty far through the third quarter.
No, I think, I mean, if we're being serious about it, you know, is this the game? Is it? I mean, how many games does he need to hit that?
I don't even know.
But I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if he gets it this year, good for him. If he doesn't, bring him back.
Bring it. I'm saying bring him
Let's
back
go.
either way.
I mean, if we all love Cat Grizz, it's been pretty good the last few years. So we want to keep that going, right?
So, good old Bobby Houck is at 119 wins. So he needs to get 4 more wins after this.
4 more wins.
4 more wins, potentially 3 more wins after this game, depending on how it ends up. I mean, shout out to Bobby Houck. Let's just keep him there.
Let's go.
I mean,
let's go.
He's got such a pedigree, you know, and he's been around for so long. He's an alma mater. You might as well just keep him around for like ever, right?
And who go back to the Twitter page? Who put up the picture of the Robbie Houck had 37 tackles?
Robert Fisher.
Yes, let's go. Robert Fisher. Did you look at the stats for Portland State's game today?
No, Roger Fisher.
Roger.
I'm sorry. Roger Fisher. Roger Fisher, you are a super fan. Let me tell you what. He's got the signs made up every single week. 805 MSU yards of offense this week is what he was guessing. They only missed it by a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, just a touch. They almost had that for him. But it was all good on the Twitter page today. There was not much to complain about as far as anything went.
But Roger Fisher, I haven't seen the exact stat line yet, but pretty sure, once again, Robbie Houck had 37 tackles.
I think that might be the interview we have to get.
Yeah, that one sounds fun.
Good old Roger. I mean, you seem like you got like a great love for the Cats, and we would love to talk to you. I think that would be a great time for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, you know, as far as everything else going on, I am in pain because of Cal Poly's missed extra point and missed field goal, because that ruined my bet.
Yeah, they would have hit the point spread if it wasn't for those.
Yeah,
just one of them too.
I really hope nobody tailed my Idaho Vandals by 13.5, because that's not looking real good right now.
It is not looking good at all.
Really hope nobody did that. But if you followed on the over and the Derek Snell touchdown today, hopefully you guys put $100 on each, because both of them hit. I don't have any major gripes with Montana Sportsbet other than the kiosk still sucks, and the app still sucks.
They both still suck, for sure.
Yeah.
Just for some housekeeping before we close this out, there is Cats Pod merch that is live right now.
Let's go.
You can go buy the Bobcats for Bobby t-shirt, or you can get our podcast logo t-shirt right now on Bonfire. Links are in our BioLink feed if you want to purchase either of those. It's the best way to support us and hopefully get us an actual studio someday.
Yeah, let's go. And as always, feedback, guys. Love it. Love getting some responses from people. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to try and make something better every week. So throw out those reviews, throw out those responses, and yeah, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any voice messages yet. I would love to hear some of our listeners' voice messages.
One more. Go Phillies.
Go Phillies. Yeah. There you go. Well, thank you to all our loyal listeners. We will catch you next week for that Sacramento State game, and hope you have a beautiful week.
Absolutely.